Hey everybody, Mr. Dave here. Welcome back to the Arms Public Library in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts, where your journey begins. Today we've got some music, we've got some moving, and we've got another great show by Arnold for you guys. I hope you have a lot of fun. But let's jump right on in to our first song, Yankee Doodle. So Yankee Doodle's got a really interesting history. It started out as a popular song a long time ago and has since become a kid's song, and it's often used as an American patriotic song. It's a fun song. It's a little silly, and you'll notice in the middle there's the use of the word macaroni. Now, you and I know that macaroni, that's a type of pasta, little noodles, usually paired with cheese. However, when the song was written, something that was macaroni was also used as a term to say it was fancy or rich or really good looking or really nice. So, in the middle of the song, when Yankee Doodle puts the feather in his cap and calls it macaroni, he's not calling it pasta, he's saying he looks fancy. Pretty neat, huh? Bet you didn't know that one. So, let's get singing Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the stepping with the girls be handy. Good job. Now let's sing it with me. Ready? Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the stepping with the girls be handy. Good job. Bet you guys look macaroni too. All right, guys, it's time to use your hands. And today we're going to pretend to row a boat because we're going to do the classic row, row, row your boat. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our two hands like this, like we have an oar, and we're going to row the boat. Row the boat. Good. Just like that. Row the boat. And when we're singing, we're going to row the boat. You ready? Here we go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Good job. You still rowing? Let's do it again. Here we go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Good job rowing. Awesome. Okay, guys, that was fun. Good job rowing. Now, the next song is one of mine, and this song is all about a crazy bird. Yes, a crazy bird who happens to play one of these. This is a ukulele. For those of you who don't know, a ukulele is kind of like a small guitar, and it's only got 4 strings on it. It comes in a few different sizes, and it's one of my favorite things to have because it plays music. So this song is all about a bird who I met that plays ukulele. But in the middle, I need you to be a bird. I need you to flap your wings and squawk. So in the middle, can you flap your wings and run around and squawk and honk and make bird sounds? Bet you can. All right, here we go. I'll let you know when it's coming. But right now, let's have some fun with the ukulele playing bird. There's a bee in the bounce house, there's a lizard in the lounge, there's a cat in the birthday cake, and a mailbox has a mouse. There's a dog in the doorbell, there's a ferret in the fern, but the strangest thing I ever did see was a ukulele playing bird. He just squawked and he squawked and he played his ukulele, he hummed and he strummed and he flew away. There's a snake being silly, there's a gorilla playing guitar, there's a big old elephant checking emails and a camel in my car. There's a dog in the doorbell, there's a ferret in the fern, but the strangest thing I ever did see was a ukulele playing bird. Alright guys, here's where you do your flapping and your squawking. Let's do it! Was a ukulele playing bird? He just squawked and he squawked C. Was a ukulele playing bird. Good job, guys. That was awesome.
Hello and welcome to the theater. Today we have an excellent performance of Jack and the Giant. Yes, a wonderful show for you and your friends and anyone else whom you would like to share this video with. Well, sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Once upon a time there was a teenage boy named Jack. He lived on a small farm with his mother and his motorbikes. Jack loved to fix and work on motorcycles of all kinds, dirt bikes, mopeds, cruisers, street racers. If it has two wheels and a motor, Jack loved it, and had several. One morning Jack's mother woke up grumpily to the fact that she was out of coffee. So she went to the converted barn where Jack was already up and replacing a piston ring. She asked if Jack would run to the store and pick up some coffee beans for her French press.
Sure, I'll just take Bessie there and run to the market for you.
Jack eagerly jumped at a chance to ride. He took the money from his mother and rode off on a small yet mighty-looking motorcycle that had an odd, blotchy black and white paint scheme and long handlebars, giving the impression that Jack was riding a bi-wheeled cow to town. Thus the bovine moniker. Jack soon arrived at the market and went in search of his mother's coffee beans. He was, however, distracted and thinking about replacing the head gasket on the motor he was currently swapping rings on.
I need to remember to change out that plug, too.
In his mechanical musings, he made a grave error. Instead of buying his mother a bag of Arabica beans, he instead purchased a bag of abracadabra beans. Whilst well known for their magical abilities, they do not make a tasty coffee. In his defense, they were packaged similarly and in the same aisle. Jack arrived home, eager to get back to his work, and placed the bag of beans on the kitchen counter.
Ma, the beans are on the counter. I'm going back to the garage. Bye.
Jack's mother groggily galumphed to the kitchen and started her morning routine, not noticing the purchase error and grinding the abracadabra beans and putting them in her French press. When she poured her heated water over the beans, they started to glow, a fact that went completely unnoticed by the sleep-deprived parent. When Mother poured the contents of the press into her cup and added the cream and sugar, the glow turned into a slow, swirling pulse of light. Mother brought the mixture up to her mouth to take a sip, and quickly noticed that her morning beverage was looking less like coffee and more like an evening at the club. It was then she noticed the purchase error and sighed defeatedly. She tossed the magical mixture out of the window and decided to drive herself into the store in hopes of finding the beans that she truly desired. What Mother did not notice as she drove away was that the liquid she haphazardly tossed out her window had splashed onto a wheel ramp that was sitting outside the barn, and then began to vibrate. Jack was working intently and did not notice anything out of the ordinary until...
What is that?
Jack looked outside his window and saw the yellow metal ramp stretching and growing and filling the space between the house and the barn, pushing up against the wall of the home and growing straight at the barn itself. Upward and outward it grew, faster and faster, the edge of the ramp just brushing past the cockerel in the top of the barn, narrowly avoiding damaging the barn itself. Soon the ramp had grown so large the top was no longer visible, for it had plunged into a thick cloud cover.
Dude.
Jack rushed quickly to outfit himself in helmet, glove, and glasses, and jumped onto Bessie and rode out to the foot of the mountainous ramp. He revved the motorbike and charged forward and up the ramp. After what Jack would later describe as his most exhilarating ride he had ever taken, he finally reached the clouds and rode straight in without a moment's hesitation. When he broke through the cloud cover, he was flabbergasted at what he saw. Instead of the top of the yellow ramp and the white fluffy of the clouds, he was on an enormous driveway next to a massive yet dingy white building that led out onto what he could only describe as a rural suburban road. The cloud in the ramp had simply disappeared. But that's not all. He looked up to his left and saw a giant antique moped. This moped was the size of a large house. For those of you who may not be clear on what a moped is, it is like a small motorcycle that often uses pedals to move both the motorbike and start the engine. It looked very old and had some rust on it in spots, but to Jack it was absolutely gorgeous. Then, from out of the home, came a giant. He came outside wearing a helmet almost exactly like the one Jack was wearing, and a very odd pair of goggles.
Oh.
The giant sat down on the massive moped and attempted to start the motor. To no avail. He pedaled and pedaled furiously, but the moped engine simply would not start. The giant just rode around pedaling in a small circle on his driveway, very slowly.
Ah! I just bought this thing, and he told me it worked fine. All I wanted to do was feel the wind on my face.
Jack looked up at the bellowing behemoth and knew the solution to his predicament.
Excuse me. Hey! I know.
Jack, unable to get the attention of the crying giant, went over to Bessie and started her up, revving the engine as loudly as he could.
Hey, chill. I know what's wrong with your pad. You do? Yeah, you forgot to squeeze the clutch. It's that little lever under your brake under the left side. It pulls the clutch arm onto the outer disc and engages the crankshaft and magneto to pump the piston and spark the plug. Okay.
The giant, both confused by the tiny person with a tiny motorcycle and eager to get his new purchase running, sat upon his moped and followed the tiny biker's instructions. And the moped sprung to life. The giant was so happy he lifted the little man in his tiny motorcycle, that for some reason reminded him of a cow, up off of the ground and held them to his face.
Oh, thank you so much, tiny person with your cow motorcycle. I am so glad you are my friend now.
Jack said he was pleased to help a fellow biker and welcomed him to the club. The giant was so pleased that he insisted that Jack join him on his very first ride around town. In fact, the giant planned on treating him to something downtown, for there were several quaint shops in this village.
Well, could use a cup of coffee.
So Jack and the giant rode off together towards coffee and the start of a wonderful friendship. The end.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here at the Arms Public Library, where your journey begins. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Arnold's story, and I hope you did too. Once again, thanks for joining me, and I've got one more song just for you. My favorite way to say goodbye is not goodbye to you. Not adios, arrivederci, sayonara, or adieu. My favorite way to say goodbye, the best way that I knew. My favorite way to say goodbye is to say that I love you. Bye, guys.